Viewer discretion is advised.
Isaac was brought in to face his community. His hands bound behind his back, and two strong men held his arms. With one strong shove, Isaac was made to kneel in front of the people, who all looked upon him with contempt and disgust. The chief walked towards Isaac and spat on him. Before our great war, Isaac was known for his knowledge of medicine, being passionate and devoted to helping his fellow brothers and sisters. He was an invaluable contributor to the construction of our healing houses, which have sadly since been destroyed during those dark days. As one wise man had said before, all roads to hell are paved with good intentions. And Isaac here, my fellow brothers and sisters, had committed a crime most foul against his people. The crowd erupted in anger. They cursed and threw rotten vegetables at Isaac, who only stared blankly at them. Hello everybody, I'm the Rubber. Today, we bring you SCP Foundation Euclid Class Object SCP-2988. SCP-2988, also known as Folly of the Fruit Eater, is an anomalous tree located in a grove within an undisclosed location in North America. It bears resemblance to the quaking aspen, albeit that it grows a fruit not found on standard quaking aspen trees. The fruit is designated as SCP-2988-1. SCP-2988-1 instances have black skin, soft red-orange flesh, and are ovular in shape. Its juice possesses narcotic and anesthetic properties, which include hallucinations, giddiness, and vomiting in subjects who consume the fruit. The subject will then experience numbness and the loss of motor skills. Several branches of 2988 are affixed at the end with animal and human forelimbs, all of which appear to have been ripped off with extreme force. Said limbs do not show signs of decay, despite constant exposure to the elements. These forelimbs possess full dexterity and assist 2988 in grasping, hitting, and restraining those that come near 2988. When a human comes within 4 meters of 2988, 2988 will bend noticeably towards them at the trunk. Appendages on 2988 near the subject then pick and offer 2988-1 to them, gesturing in a manner indicative of 2988 wanting the subject to eat the fruit. If it is consumed, 2988 will wait until the subject is incapacitated by the fruit's effects before taking further action. If the fruit is refused, or if the subject tries to leave the vicinity of 2988, 2988 will attempt to force-feed 2988-1 to them, often restraining the subject via forelimbs. They can travel approximately 30 meters from 2988 while in pursuit before showing signs of losing mobility. Limbs have been observed dragging fatigued limbs back to 2988. If a subject is captured, 2988 will grab them by their wrists and ankles and elevate them to the uppermost branches. If there are multiple subjects, they are spread evenly throughout the branches. During this time, juice from 2988-1 is constantly dripped into the subject's mouth. Any person held captive is usually unable to resist at this point due to both their restraint and their drugged state. Approximately 3 minutes later, forelimbs on 2988 will cease to drip feed subjects. 2988 as a whole will begin to shake increasingly, with its leaves beginning to produce the distinct rustling noises heard from normal quaking aspen trees. Limbs near the subject will then grab the length of one of their arms and pull back violently until the arm is removed. Limbs removed from a subject are passed around through the branches of 2988 until a relatively empty area of space is found. A branch will insert itself in the exposed muscle of the limb, possibly binding itself to the bones. After approximately 40 seconds, the newly attached appendage shows signs of regained dexterity. 2988 will then violently throw all subjects to the ground at its roots. Subjects are usually killed from the impact. Over the next 72 hours, the bodies rapidly rot, presumably acting as fertilizer for 2988 in the process. 2988 grows several dozen 2988-1 as the bodies decompose. During this time, 2988 has also been observed to lob several 2988-1 fruits away from itself. It is hypothesized that this may be an attempt by 2988 to reproduce. Several documents were found nearby SCP-2988. They contained not only the details of the tree, but also its assumed creator, Isaac. The snow fell continuously and relentlessly. It has been a few weeks since the fighting began. For the past 2 weeks, Isaac had resorted to hiding in a shack hidden by the ice, praying that some hungry stray animals don't smell him out. Either that or to consume his fallen brothers and sisters in the village. He could hear the Maker telling him in his head that eating will save his mind, and for once, Isaac doubted him. No, he thought. Tearing apart my fellow people won't preserve me in the slightest. Eventually, hunger got the best of him, and he tried to go outside. The cold began to tingle as soon as he stepped out. He couldn't find any plants worth eating in the frozen landscape, and didn't have the strength to craft something up. He walked for what felt like days, and collapsed in front of a shrine. Isaac used all his energy and dragged his ravaged body inside. He passed out, and then woke up again to cold daylight. He realized he had been lying beside a half-eaten goat. It was frozen, but it didn't matter. He wolfed down what little meat remained on the carcass. He found a set of instruments buried nearby as he was licking up snow. He then saw the fire pit and thought that he could craft something there. Just need a little more ingredients. He just needed to cut himself up. A gift from the Maker, and a test of my will. A chance for me to redeem myself for not trusting his will. After a grueling pain of severing his flesh, he began his ritual and grew a little sprout in the fire pit. Fruits grew from it, and Isaac was delighted. It tasted sweet, and for a moment, Isaac was in bliss. Oh, praise be to the Maker for bestowing upon this ravaged soul a most welcome gift. He decided that he would explore further to see if there are others who were hungry like him and share the fruits with them. The next few days, he finally found 5 people who fled from the village just like he did. They were all weak and hungry when Isaac found them. He led them to the shrine and shared the fruits. It gave Isaac a sense of joy and confidence to see them trusting him and recovering. Feels good to be a healer again, he thought to himself. However, as they grew closer, Isaac found out that these people were the heathens who started all this fighting in the beginning. He talked to them about his experience, and they said they were supporting the traitors to the Maker. Anger began to swell within Isaac, but he kept calm and went along with the talk. Afterwards, he gave them more food than usual, and they were grateful. Once they were sleeping from eating the fruit, Isaac began his plot for revenge. He was precise, 1 bite per limb, clean. That way, they could never flee. Then he went to work on them. He chopped them up one by one. He took their body parts to the fire pit and performed the ritual. To his surprise, the tree was able to move now. It scooped the meat and spread them around its roots. It must be a sign, Isaac thought. A tool given by the Maker to me to deliver judgment upon the heathens. He decided that he would hunt down the heathens. Their bones will be added to the tree. It will be recorded and everyone will know what happened to the blasphemers. He would not eat them, but he would have whatever fruits that come off from them once the tree consumes them. He played the weak role and found 2 heathens one day. They gave chase as Isaac led them back to the shrine. It attacked, it whipped its branches and held them down. Again, Isaac chopped them up and used their body parts for the ritual. He realized something. The fruit tastes different with each addition. Up to 31 limbs now. 3 more heathens the next day. The tree was beginning to grow out of the shrine windows. Isaac dragged 2 more victims. They screamed all the way until Isaac delivered them to the tree for divine silencing. Isaac almost let one slip, but suddenly the tree grew a dozen or so arms at her and dragged her back. Yet another divine secret was revealed, thought Isaac. He knelt in front of the tree as the victim struggled to free herself from the tree. O divine Maker, silence the heathens in all your glory, for your judgment is sound. Isaac's murder spree didn't last long, as one day he was confronted in his shrine by a man from the village. He held up a paper with his name on it. It accused Isaac of kidnapping fellow citizens and eating them inside the shrine. He was promptly clubbed in the head and body parts chopped up and fed to the tree. That made it 63. He realized he couldn't stay there any longer and had to leave. Still, eventually, he was caught by the villagers and brought to a public trial in front of everyone. Do you know what crimes you are being punished for? I've committed no crimes. I merely carried out judgment, as the Maker had deemed it so. You insolent maniac! You have crafted a tree using your own flesh and bone with the intent that it would provide you food. But then you used your craft against our people, murdered them, maiming them, just so you could grow and fuel your abominations. And now, accept your punishment. Isaac's limbs were crushed beyond healing limits, then severed, so he can never craft again. He was branded with the names of each citizen he caused to suffer. As for the tree, it had shown surprising resilience to destruction, in both crude and spellcasting terms, and so it was sealed away to the unplotted lands in the Underplane, where it will remain untouched for the centuries to come. Until now.